Hi everyone! So it's been about a year since I took my solo trip to Greece last summer, and I thought I would make a video just summarizing some tips for any solo female travelers who are looking to start their solo travel journey. I know for me, I have had the fortunate opportunities to have traveled from a young age. Something that my mother had instilled in me was the travel bug. So, being able to travel to other countries and kind of get my feet wet when it comes to traveling has really helped me feel more confident in traveling independently. But especially as I have gone older, been able to save up and afford some travels, and sometimes my schedule doesn't work well with friends who also want to travel, so I've been able to do several trips on my own. So I thought I would share some advice. So if you're wondering where to get started, I would say research is the first step. And by research, for me, that looks like I usually start on Pinterest and I'll look up solo female travel, and then maybe any country that I've been interested in. But maybe even if you look up solo female travel, you'll be able to find different blog posts that go into detail about people's personal experiences in different countries. And I know that for me, that's helped me feel a little bit more comfortable when I hear and read about other people's experiences. Another great source for that inspiration can be YouTube. A lot of great vlogs that can inspire you and have inspired me, just watching other solo female travelers. And then in addition to that, I would say if you're on Facebook, joining a Facebook group specific for female travelers. So in particular, there's one called Girls Love Travel that I find a lot of inspiration from. So those are a few ways to get started. And then with research, then comes getting a feel for what kind of experiences you want to have. So if you're more outdoorsy and maybe you want to experience more nature, trying to find experiences that revolve around that, and you might be able to book day trips where you can connect with other travelers if you want for specific days. Like for instance, when I was in Greece, I did a day trip to take a boat sailing for the day. So that was a nice way for me to be a part of a group and get to experience a part of the islands that I wouldn't have been able to reach on my own. And that's a great way to get to meet other travelers as well. But if you're looking for, maybe you're not feeling like you can plan everything on your own, another great way to get that experience is to join a full group tour. So there are several tour companies that focus on, or that cater to younger travelers. So for instance, the company that I've used before is Contiki, and they're specific for 18 to 35-year-old travelers. A lot of times it becomes a lot of solo travelers, and the tour group will take you from country to country, and I've made a lot of great friends that way as well. So if you're feeling like you can't find people to travel with, but you want to get that taste of travel and maybe you don't want to do all the planning on your own, that is a great way because you'll be guided by a tour guide who is experienced. You'll have that sense of safety traveling in a group, but then you'll be able to meet new friends as well. And next, I would say for budgeting. So it tends to be expensive or more expensive to travel independently when you can't share a room, but it doesn't have to be necessarily very expensive, because if you're comfortable with staying in hostels, that's a great way to save money. So hostels, depending on how many people are in the room, you can share the room with, if you're more comfortable with like a single gender room, they have those. In my time traveling solo in London, I was able to stay in a all-female room, and I think it was about like 8 people. So not too many people, because it can get up to 20 plus, and then you usually share a bathroom. And you can keep things locked up. Usually you'll have somewhere to store your bags, and you can just bring a lock with you to keep things secure. And again, hostels are a great way to meet people as well. But if you're not feeling like you want any hostels, you want like a private space, I would say using websites for hotels. For instance, like booking.com was something that I used, and oftentimes I would be able to find quite affordable rooms with a private bathroom, comfortable bed, roughly around 50 euros a night. So it is a little bit more than what you'd pay for at a hostel, but you can do your research and possibly find some good deals. And then, just being mindful about how you save your money for different experiences. You can find ways to save by cooking if you have access to a kitchen. That's another way to save as you travel as well. So for safety I know is something that comes up when people are thinking about solo travel. I would say that oftentimes for me, starts with a mindset shift, because I often feel like there are potential dangers from where I live in the US. So me traveling abroad doesn't necessarily make me feel any more in danger than I would in my own country. And oftentimes I felt safer abroad because locals have been very kind and hospitable. So sometimes it's just thinking or changing the mindset into realizing, as long as you are being careful and smart about just noticing your surroundings, maybe staying in areas that are more populated, and perhaps not staying out too late, just kind of using general common sense based on your own comfort level. I find that being a solo traveler abroad can be quite empowering, and I've felt quite safe during my travels thus far. But some things that might make you feel safer, I do have a security alarm. This is from the brand Birdie, and it's basically, once you pull this ring, it's a loud noise, and that could be something that just having this on you can make you feel safer, just knowing that if you were in danger, you would be alerting the people around you. And in terms of if you're in, let's say, a private room in a shared space and you want access, you want something to secure the door that you're in, this is a handy little tool that allows you to put this into the door, and then you secure it with this guy here, and it basically keeps the door from opening from the outside. And then lastly, this is a very small thing, but I know that when traveling abroad and being alone, it can sometimes be a bummer not having someone there to take your photos. But I would say don't be afraid to ask people. It oftentimes, if you find that there's a group that you feel like they might want a picture, you can offer to take their photo, and then in return they can take your photo. But if you're feeling comfortable enough, I'd say get yourself a little tripod. So it could be a small one like this, but I've also traveled with a full-size tripod that I can use with a iPhone, and set it up. You can frame it yourself, and the app that I like to use is called Lens Buddy, and it's a great interval timer where you just set it up for however many pictures you want to take for every few seconds. Set it up, you know, and then do your thing, and most likely you'll be able to capture at least one good picture, but I'm sure plenty more. But I would say that is everything for now. So if there are any other questions, feel free to comment below. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Really, I just hope that the one thing you take from this is don't be afraid to get started, take baby steps. So that might look like doing a small weekend trip or a day trip on your own, in your local area. If there's a place that you've always wanted to visit but you don't know have anyone to go with, go take yourself on a date or a weekend getaway, and once you build up that confidence, you'll find that being on your own will be more and more comfortable. So yeah, best of luck with your future travels, and thanks for watching.